Hello and welcome to Heroes of History. This time we're looking into Menes, another favorite of mine, another 4-star. And he's from the Egyptian allied city, while Qin was from the Chinese allied city. And as they are the only 4-star, and the only 4-star that is on sale, if you can say it like that, I get a higher chance of getting that 4-star. Well, they are both fully awakened. Now you can see here he has also a rather high attack and a high hit points and a decent amount of defense. You can see here he has normal base damage, a little faster attack speed, normal range, slow attack speed, normal crit chance and crit damage. So there's nothing really special about him except he's a slightly higher attack speed. Awakening levels, more attack, more focus, and early on actually, more attack, even more attack, and attack speed plus 12 hits per minute. So the difference compared to Qin is he has more attack speed rather than extra chance of critical hits. Now his ability is a Sandstorm Surge, which is apparently both an area strike, a debuff, a burn, and a buff. So that's a lot of things at the same time. It's almost fully developed here. It's 23 out of 25 possible levels, and he is training presently. He calls forth a Divine Storm at the location of the biggest cluster of enemy units. The storm deals 119% damage in a range of 3, reduces movement speed by 80%, and relieves affected units burning for 88% over 6 seconds. Also, it targets the biggest cluster of friendly units, increasing attack by 26% plus 2% if I further develop this one, and of Menes attack for 6 seconds. So it does a lot of things. It doesn't do a lot of damage in that regard. It's a lot like Qin, but it has some movement reduction on the opponent and some friendly attack increase, but it's also a rather high ability level, so he will probably perform well. I have deemed him to be close to the abilities of Qin, so in that regard I will change Qin with him, and let's see how good or bad he does compared to him, because I think that would be a better option to change him here than here, and those two supporting units, I don't see him going in there. So let's see how this fares. You can see here comes the first Sandstorm, and you can see here he has increased attack over here, so everything works quite well. You can see even how people fall around already. And well, it was a major Sandstorm, which is great for our side, as it really burns away the enemy. And with this amount of close combat units, well, we have a lot that also can have that extra bonus for attack. As you can see here, his shields are up now, and well, here can hit everyone now, quite like Tomoe Gozen can with her area strike thing when she throws her weapon to the ground, like now. And you can see it really decimates the enemy, and quite fast and effectively, but we only rely on Ashoka for healing right now, so that's a drawback here. But with everyone being slower like hell, but its movement speed, I'm not sure how much it affects the attack speed actually. So you can see here how fast Tomoe dies here, and that's basically because it's not the attack speed that's affected. That's more like the movement speed. That's also why it also fires after 1 second in the battle wave, because then it's impossible or close to impossible for our enemies to get in range for using their attacks. So it's a bit more nifty to use him, but he does decent damage, as you can see here. But even though last time, well, I think Tomoe gave twice as much damage, and Menes gets a lot of damage, we can't make a 3-star here because we can't keep our soldiers alive. So he might be super strong, Minas, but he's also, well, sort of a wild card because, well, he can't really protect or heal his allied troops here. You can see here how he's effectively taking the speed out of the enemy units, but there's no protection for those in here, so it relies on the rest of the team. Maybe not. I could have done better with shifting him with Tomoko Gozen because, well, they're both heavy damage dealers, as you can see in the first wave. But on the other hand, I'm not sure how effective that would be. But, well, I use that combination sometimes with Minas and Qin in the same battle, so it's not a bad combo at all. Especially if you can make them make the others move around, because, well, let's just face it, they are not. That's not any of those three, Minas, Tomoko Gozen, or Qin, that is tanks. And as you can see in these battles, we really need some more tanks, especially when we go toe to toe with the enemy. So let's look at the battle stats once more. It's more modest here this time, but even though it's more modest, well, we had a win once more. Let's see what we can make of this battle here, and let's just go with this. It's also a 3-wave battle that makes it difficult. As you can see here, with everyone turned to slow mode, we have got plenty of time to move into position. Of course, the problem is now Tomoko Gozen can't hit at everyone at the same time because they won't be collected around Bismarck when she uses her power the first time. So, as an effect of this, you would be better off with the combination with Qin and Tomoko Gozen, because that just leaves more soldiers around her that she can kill. Of course, you can wait out the timing, but then you can't use her powers as often, and then she becomes less effective. Of course, we could have changed him with Louis XIV and let loose the shield and rely more on the healing power, and then we would have a lot more units that can actually do a lot of area damage, which is also a viable strategy. But again, they're not super strong defensive-wise. They don't have a lot of defense, so that would be a bit of an issue, a bit of a stretch here. And well, this one we barely only lost one, so this combination isn't the best one, but we're still making wins, and that's a new record. Now let's turn on to the next battle. Come on, yes, please. And let's do this battle. Second last one. And that's another problem with Minas. If, well, they collect it, he will damage them all, but on the other hand, that's what causes him to really use the slowness he can procure on our enemies. Because otherwise, well, we don't hold them back the same way from, well, entering the front line, especially the back row of the enemy units. Now let's see here, they're calling in everyone over there, and they're moving over there super fast, and now, well, Minas might catch them all, but the problem is here, they're shooting just as fast as they normally do, and now we're losing that Tomoko Gozen girl, unless she gets some help here, and luckily this time she does, and gets to kill really a lot of units. I think she might even have put up a decent amount of heal for herself from that item I already gave her earlier. Now let's look into the stats here, and well, good stats. Now let's continue with the last battle here. Continue this one. And take this battle number 8, continue here, and let's just do it. Now this time we can hit the major part of them, as well as there's only one wave. So in reality, I think that's where Minas can do best in single wave battles. And as you can see here, it works pretty nicely also. Taking out everything around us here. And there we go. A decisive victory. Let's look how the battle stats looks here in the jiffy. At least we have a really high number of hit points left for our units. Let's look at here. Now look at the collective battle stats here. There's less for Bismarck, well, a lot less for Tomogosen actually. Less for Louis XIV, and a lot more for Minas. And well, when he really shows his potential, he really gives a lot of damage, and a record for these test videos. And well, actually, ironically, Ashoka the Great is the only one on the team actually giving more damage in average. Less damage taken by Bismarck. Well, even less for Tomogosen, even though she died several times. And even less damage for Louis XIV too. And well, a little extra for Ashoka the Great. And you can see here, even Bismarck died once, and well, were revived by his relic. Even less healing from Tomogosen's relic, as well as, well, Ashoka the Great gave a lot less healing, but in general I think the battles were shorter, though we didn't get the high amount of stars that we could get with this team up here, with the Kin in focus. But on the other hand, we still did pretty good, because we had that more damage, and we had it landing fast. I still think it would be a good combination with Kin and Minas and Tomogosen, and then Otto von Bismarck to, well, collect the enemy heroes. Then that way we had 3 high damage givers, as well as Kin giving extra healing together with Ashoka. That would be a pretty strong team in the anti-area part of the game. Now, definitely a great thumbs up for Minas from my side. I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good day.